Part 21. Fantasy. After thousands of years of seclusion, I became a saint. Author, Love to eat chicken legs. Chapter 208. Immortal King Curse. At the moment when he was resisting Qin Hao, the pressure of the immortal king, Gu Wuxuan, flew out of the air. His hands quickly transformed into seals, and with the soul power of the immortal king, he condensed an ancient immortal spell. That was Gu Wuxuan. The most powerful forbidden technique he has mastered. In the past, he used this technique to withstand a blow from the immortal king. Although the immortal king only struck at random. But it is enough to show that the killing power of this immortal king curse has how shocking and terrifying. This is also Gu Wuxuan's strongest trump card. If even this technique can kill Qin Hao, then he will have no choice but to withdraw to the immortal realm first. After all, once the ancient power of the entire Xianhuang universe is, if the pressure falls, then even if he has the soul of the immortal king, he may not be able to escape. But suddenly, Gu Wuxuan's eyes changed drastically. He actually couldn't sense the location of the space wall in the netherworld. Did someone take action to seal the space wall? When did it happen? He actually let him, not aware of it at all. You know, there is his original brand in that space wall. Even if the netherworld collapses, he can use the original brand to teleport back instantly. But now, it has been directly sealed? This is arranged by Qin Hao? Are there creatures at the level of true immortals hidden in the Xianhuang universe? Now, at this time, Qin Hao, who was facing the terrifying killing technique, did not have the slightest fear or flinch. Surrounded by the Hongmeng immortal light, boundless energy of chaos surged above his head. Then, billions of Gundams shot out the majestic figure, holding the Hongmeng giant axe, condensed out. The vast and boundless chaotic figure was a vision transformed by the energy of chaos. However, the Hongmeng giant axe in the hands of the chaotic figure was actually condensed. A supreme killing power that seemed to come from the prehistoric era swept away unscrupulously at this moment. The fairy light scattered by the fixed light beads was blown away by the impact. But the ancient laws of Xianhuang universe did not. The pressure came over. Because at this moment, even the ancient laws of the Xianhuang universe were washed away. The prehistoric killing power was so terrifying that it was enough to ruin the 9 heavens and 10 earths. Cut. Without any hesitation, Qin Hao, with blood and essence in his body, tried his best to display the strongest killing blow. When the axe was struck, a terrifying crack like a galaxy appeared between the sky and the earth. When the battle axe passed by, everything in the world collapsed. Broken. Kill. At this time, Gu Wuxuan, who had retreated, was roaring and roaring, with a ferocious and terrifying face. He tried his best to directly sacrifice the 7 ancient immortal treasures and integrate them into the immortal king curse. Not only that, he also controlled that fairy sword, the human sword merged into one, amplifying the killing power of the immortal king's curse. At this moment, Gu Wuxuan was completely desperate. Only by suppressing Qin Hao could he have a way to return to the fairy land. If he was dragged back by Qin Hao, if so, then this place may become his burial place. In vain. Qin Hao's eyes were cold and he spat out 2 words coldly. Gu. Wuxuan's desperate efforts were indeed in vain in Qin Hao's eyes. The Hongmeng battle axe is a supreme killing technique born from the origin of the Pangu axe. If you understand it thoroughly, constantly nourished by the Hongmeng law, it is not impossible to transform into Pangu axe. And Pangu axe once broke through chaos with one axe, destroyed gods and demons with one axe, and opened the world with one axe. Even if it is the soul of the immortal king, in this unparalleled world, even under the killing technique, you have to drink this hatred. You must know that at this time, Qin Hao not only completely exploded the immortal power of the Hongmeng immortal bone in his body, but also integrated the essence and blood of the future immortal king into his body. Under such circumstances, he used the Hongmeng war axe, in the Immortal King realm, is almost invincible. The situation was not what Qin Hao expected. Gu Wuxuan tried his best to attack the Immortal King curse, but was directly killed by the Hongmeng battle axe. That man Gu Wuxuan, whose swords merged into one to amplify the Immortal King's curse, was chopped into pieces by an axe just as he was about to escape. Seal up. That Gu Wuxuan is worthy of being a heaven-defying genius who is only one step away from the Immortal King. At this time of life and death, Gu Wuxuan actually used secret techniques to escape the immortal soul from his body. But unfortunately, the center of his eyebrows glowed. Qin Hao, who used to have a secret insight into the future, reacted in advance. In the sixth secret realm, the god villain surrounded the law pool, suddenly fell into the vacuum, and sealed the ancient unparalleled immortal soul. I am a descendant of the eternal immortal section, how dare you suppress me? The ancient Wuxuan immortal soul struggled, using various secret techniques, trying to break through the suppression of the law pool. Unfortunately, with only his soul, he was not Qin Hao's current opponent. When the power of time was scattered, the ancient Wuxuan immortal soul was completely destroyed. Seal, Qin Hao even directly took action to refine it. As for the eternal immortal sect mentioned by Gu Wuxuan, Qin Hao didn't care at all. I, the eternal immortal sect, will never let you go. Gu Wuxuan, as a descendant of the eternal immortal sect, naturally would not tolerate his soul being refined. Although he was sealed, he still spontaneously ignited the brand in his immortal soul. This is the spell left in his body by the eternal immortal sect. Once someone can trigger this curse by refining Gu Wuxuan's soul. Of course, when this curse is triggered, it also means that Gu Wuxuan will be completely destroyed. Qin Hao is not surprised, and quickly uses a secret method to extract the immortal soul from Gu Wuxuan's spontaneous combustion. Imprisoning the origins of immortality. These origins of immortality are crucial for Qin Hao to attack the realm of true immortals. Almost at the moment when Gu Wuxuan spontaneously ignited the spell. Immortal realm, eternal immortal sect. Boom. A long sound of the immortal bell resounded. It started and spread throughout the endless universe. Then, a beam of fairy light rose into the sky, manifesting the shadow of Gu Wuxuan. This is. Senior brother, have you been robbed? What happened? Isn't senior brother sitting in charge of Shengxian Terrace? Why was it robbed? Could it be that there is an immortal king-level giant taking action against the senior brother? In the eternal immortal sect, countless creatures changed their colors in horror, and were shocked into the sky. Whoosh, whoosh, deep in the eternal immortal sect, extremely terrifying auras were resurrecting. Teleport them all away. The descendants of the immortal sect were robbed, and their eternal immortal sect naturally wanted to find out what happened. Xianhuang Ancient Star. After seizing the origin of the ancient Wuxuan immortal soul, Qin Hao waved his sleeves. As the dazzling fairy light filled the air, Gu Wuxuan's physical body and the original fairyland were all sealed. After that, Qin Hao stepped into space and disappeared directly. The next moment, Qin Hao arrived at the Daiguan battlefield and entered the Netherworld. At this time, Nether Palace was filled with the pungent and strong smell of blood, and the sky was stained red. Zhou Yang, Qin Fengxiu, Great Sage Liwo, Zhang Juxing, and others, who were originally dispersed, have arrived. Big brother. Master. Seeing Qin Hao's arrival, Zhou Yang, Zhang Juxing, and others immediately flew over. Have you succeeded? Qin Hao asked directly without any nonsense. Great Sage Liwo, Zhou Yang, Qin Yi, and Zhang Juxing all took out an imperial light. In that imperial light, there was a secret source sealed. It was the secret source of the four major forces in Netherworld Palace. The secret realms of these four major forces are refined from the ancient and shattered secret realms of heaven and earth. Therefore, these secret realms are filled with immortal spiritual energy, just like the road to becoming an immortal. Qin Hao took the origins of the four secret realms and crossed them in one step. Kong appeared there, in front of the sealed Blue Thunder space wall. Festival. While his hands were changing into seals, Qin Hao performed the Great Sacrifice technique, one of the 3,000 avenues. This avenue technique can be used to sacrifice treasures in exchange for power. The power of the sacrifice is greater than the self-destruction of the treasure. Puff puff. Puff. As the Great Sacrifice technique was performed, the origins of the four secret realms exploded together. Qin Hao used great magic power to condense all the origins of the four secret realms into one place. After that, Qin Hao never came to the essence. Several strands split out of the blood and merged into the original power of the sacrifice. Immediately, the overwhelming coercion of the immortal king emanated from the original power. Fantasy, after thousands of years of seclusion, I became a saint. Author, love to eat chicken legs. Chapter 209. Qin Yi, Zhou Yang and others all looked extremely solemn. The pressure of such laws is so terrifying. Even though it was not directed at them, it still made them feel frightened. It seems that their previous guesses are very likely to be true. The Dao Emperor really got the inheritance from the immortal ancient era. Qin Hao, on the other hand, received the inheritance of Dao Emperor in the immortal ancient Forbidden Land. This can also clearly explain where Qin Hao's strange inherited secret techniques come from. Now, after integrating the essence and blood of the future immortal king into several strands of the origins from the four secret realms, Qin Hao thought, and a series of ancient immortal scenes appeared in the origins of those secret realms. These ancient immortal scenes were Qin Hao understood it from the laws of the great Dao left by Emperor Dao. Originally, this was just what Emperor Dao saw and heard when he traveled across time and space and returned to the ancient immortal period. But now Qin Hao has combined these the scenes all evolved. After that, Qin Hao broke the space wall seal of the Blue Thunder and threw the four secret sources of the immortal ancient scene into the Blue Thunder. Bang long. The moment Qin Hao threw it in, the four secret sources that he had condensed exploded. There was the boundless coercive aura of the immortal king and the ancient scene of the immortal, exploding in all directions. In the Xianhuang universe, there is the immortal king status. At the moment of the explosion, Qin Hao spoke in an ancient and unparalleled voice. There was a ferocious despair at the time of death in his voice. Walk. After finishing, Qin Hao and the people from Dai Holy Land disappeared immediately. When they disappeared, the netherworld was completely shattered and submerged by the endless void turbulence. Fairyland. Shenxiande. Shengxian Terrace, which is usually rarely visited by people, today is constantly visited by powerful people. The weakest ones have also stepped into the immortal level, and even immortal king-level giants have arrived. Such a situation naturally alarmed the countless star fields in the surrounding universe. Soon, the news spread as meddlesome people inquired. The descendant of the eternal immortal sect, Gu Wuxuan, seems to have been robbed. This news spread, and countless forces in the immortal realm were shocked. Gu Wuxuan, that is the strongest descendant of the eternal immortal sect. He is also the most shocking evildoer in the eternal immortal sect who is most likely to reach the level of immortal king. More than 1,000 years ago, the killing of several descendants of the Qincan immortal sect almost caused a war among the immortal sect. Therefore, Gu Wuxuan was punished by several immortal kings and came to guard the immortal platform. Now, Gu Wuxuan was actually robbed. Could this be done by the Qincan immortal sect? If this is true, then this catastrophe of the immortal sect is unavoidable. It is very possible that the monster that attacked the giant immortal king was killed. Even if the eternal immortal sect overturned the sky, they would still find the culprit. Boom. The giants of the eternal immortal sect ignored the heated discussions of those forces in the immortal domain. After they arrived at the immortal platform, they immediately used secret methods to sense the place where Gu Wuxuan died. But after a moment, the giants of the eternal immortal sect couldn't help but be surprised. Gu Wuxuan actually left the immortal ascension platform and walked out of the gate of the immortal realm? Is this, the lower world went to other universes? Boom. Of course, surprised. They were astonished, but their secret methods continued to sense and explore. Soon, along with the deafening sound of bombing, countless strange phenomena appeared in the void. That is, Xianhuang universe, a scene from the immortal ancient era. Could it be? In the immortal realm, those ancient giants recognized those strange phenomena at a glance. In the dark and yellow universe, scenes from the immortal ancient era emerge. This also caused many creatures in the immortal realm to show their strange colors. The giant of the eternal immortal sect looked even more moved. They remembered that hundreds of years ago, Gu Wuxuan gave up and entered the Tegzu Immortal Trail. You know, in the Tegzu Immortal Trail, you can hope to win the opportunity of the Immortal King. But they were quite surprised and even came to ask questions in person. At that time, Gu Wuxuan had some insights and put them off. Now it seems that Gu Wuxuan is afraid that he has another agenda. Suddenly, a giant in the eternal immortal sect seemed to sense something. He used the supreme immortal method to draw out a point of light from the endless void. Boom! At this moment, a destructive immortal method came out without any warning. Appeared and bombarded the light spot. Such a sneak attack made the giants of the eternal immortal sect furious, with murderous intent raging, and the nine heavens shook. In the Xianhuang universe, there is the immortal king status. At this time, in the bombarded light spot, there was a desperate voice on the verge of death. Although the voice was ethereal, it seemed to come from an endless distance of time and space. But all the forces in the immortal realm on the Fixian platform determined that it was Gu Wuxuan's voice. Gu Wuxuan discovered the Xianhuang universe, and the immortal king status in the ancient time. Could it be related to those ancient immortal inheritances? After so many years, the lost inheritance has never been released. It is very likely that it has not been obtained by the forces of the immortal domain, but has been hidden in the Xianhuang universe. If so, after hearing the meaning of those words clearly, countless giants in the immortal realm were shocked. This is not because I learned that the immortal king status has appeared in the Xianhuang universe. More importantly, they remembered the past, the ancient inheritance related to the origin of the immortal realm. For a time, countless forces in the immortal realm had different expressions. Even the giants of the eternal immortal sect are all flashing in different colors. In the past, the battle in Xianhuang universe was not that far away for them. Soon, the news of the Ascension platform spread throughout the immortal realm at an astonishing speed. The entire immortal realm was shaken by it. Countless immortal giants all looked towards Xianhuang universe. An invisible and terrifying storm is gradually forming. Xianhuang universe became the eye of the storm. It seems calm, but in fact, it may completely collapse and annihilate at any time. Xianhuang ancient star. Donghuang, Taoyi Holy Land. You must be curious about my previous actions, right? After returning to the Holy Land, he looked at the expressions of Zhang Taishu and others, and Qin Hao slowly spoke. Although Zhang Taishu and others did not speak, Qin Hao could see what they were thinking. After hearing Qin Hao's words, Zhang Taishu and others' expressions were all perked up. If you say you are not curious, you would be lying. After all, in this plan, their previous deployments in various parts of the universe were completely useless. And judging from Qin Hao's demeanor when he ordered them, the various deployments in the cosmic star field were far beyond that of capturing the secret realms of the four major forces such as Netherworld Mansion. Qin Hao's plan was definitely far more than that. It was to deal with its just Gu Wuxuan who came from the lower realm. The true immortal who came from the lower realm this time is the descendant of the immortal realm, the eternal immortal sect. His goal is to bring back the immortal ancient inheritance that Dao Great Emperor traveled through the immortal ancient in the past. As for my plan, I want to use him as a guide to attract the forces from the immortal realm to the Xianhuang universe. Seeing Qin Fengxiu and others who were all curious and pricking up their ears, Qin Hao smiled and slowly said, attracting the forces from the immortal realm to the Xianhuang universe. Why is this? Hearing Qin Hao's words, Zhou Yang and others were even more puzzled. Although the Xianhuang universe contains the pressure of ancient immortal laws, which can suppress other immortal creatures. But if they really provoke the giants of the immortal realm, then the laws of the Xianhuang universe cannot be resisted. The Xianhuang universe, even in the most prosperous ancient immortal period, cannot replace the immortal realm. Let alone now. From the decline of the Xianhuang universe to the present, there is almost no real the situation of the immortal. However, the immortal realm is becoming more and more immortal and controls hundreds of millions of creatures in the universe. You can see the difference between the two. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, after thousands of years of seclusion, I became a saint. Author, love to eat chicken legs. Chapter 210. This move is indeed a bit risky. But in order for Xianhuang universe to return to the ancient times, a new era in which everyone can become an immortal. Even if you take a little risk, it's worth it. The smile on Qin Hao's face remained unchanged, but his words became firmer. The foundation of Dei Holy Land is related to the luck value of the 9-story Immortal Tower. And the 9-story Immortal Tower is also about Qin Hao's ability in how far can you go as you practice. Therefore, Dei Holy Land cannot stay at the overlord level of the Xianhuang universe. Only by entering an era when everyone can become an immortal can the Holy Land become stronger and Qin Hao become more powerful. After all, 9 revolutions Xiangong and Pangu's immortal body. But it takes endless luck to exchange them completely. Originally, it was the most suitable way to ascend to the immortal realm through the road of becoming an immortal. But unfortunately, the immortal realm's move was blocked. This way. Therefore, Qin Hao had no choice but to find another way. And this way, it was the Tao Emperor who laid out an eternal plan at the expense of his own life. Although I don't know how long it will take, there will definitely be forces in the immortal realm to conquer the Xianhuang universe. There will not be a few true immortals like today, and it is even very possible that there will be giant immortal kings. After that, Qin Hao spoke again. Qin Hao was convinced of this. Whether it was the eternal immortal sect behind Gu Wushuan, or the news about the immortal king status that he spread, or those who knew the immortal ancient inheritance. The forces in the immortal realm will definitely shake the immortal realm. Master, can the ancient immortal laws of the Xianhuang universe suppress the immortal king of the immortal realm? Qin Yi said in a deep voice to confirm this. If they are only at the level of true immortals, there will be a lot of people coming. But when Qin Hao breaks through the immortal barrier and then suppresses it with the ancient immortal laws, it should not be difficult to deal with. And if the immortal king comes, we can only rely on the suppression of the ancient immortal law. The ancient immortal law should not be able to suppress the immortal king level. The situation is as expected by Qin Yi and others. Qin Hao shook his head and said, after all, even in the immortal realm, the immortal king level is a giant standing at the peak of the immortal Dao. Because the creatures in the immortal emperor realm, except for the period when the immortal realm was first established, it has never appeared in later generations. No one knows where the immortal emperors who created the inheritance of the immortal realm went. But judging from the information left by Emperor Dao, the immortal realm has long been there is no immortal emperor sitting in charge. As for the Xianhuang universe, it is naturally impossible to exist, otherwise it would not have declined so much. Therefore, the ancient immortal laws of the Xianhuang universe should be difficult to suppress the immortal king giant. After all, the laws of the immortal king level, no matter how strong he is, it is impossible to deal with the real immortal king. I have my own arrangements for the arrival of the immortal domain forces, so you don't have to worry. The reason why I tell you is to prepare you mentally. Seeing Zhang Taishu and others with unconcealed worry and solemn expressions, Qin Hao said with a smile. This time, he got a lot of ancient immortal cultivation resources from the 4 secret realms such as Netherworld Mansion. Now tell Zhou Yang and others to tell the immortals under pressure, they should have a big breakthrough in matters concerning the immortal domain. Of course, Qin Hao only said what might happen to the forces in the immortal domain. Regarding the eternal plan of Emperor Dao and what he planned, he did not tell them all the things. Because even if he said these things, Qin Yi and others would not be able to help. In Qin Hao's eyes, Qin Yi and others are still just the seeds of the inheritance of the Holy Land. Now, there is no need to get involved in these things. When they succeed in cultivation, they will naturally bloom. Just like the turbulent future he saw from that drop of blood in the past. The people of Dao Yi Holy Land at that time, it is obvious that they can fight alongside him. After hearing Qin Hao's words, the expressions of Zhang Taishu and others became more solemn. Even if they set foot in the Emperor realm, or even the level of Heavenly Emperor, they still can't help Qin Hao. After telling him after the news, Qin Hao asked Qin Yi and others to disperse, and he was going to retreat to practice. Strictly speaking, Qin Hao's plan was very different from the layout of Emperor Dao. However, compared to Dao Yi, the Emperor's careful layout, Qin Hao felt that although his plan was risky, the probability of success was higher. Correct. At this time, Zhang Taishu, who was about to leave, seemed to remember something. He turned around and came back, taking out a weak soul from the seal box. That soul was surprisingly his senior brother, Zhang Wuliang. Master. Qin Hao was startled. Zhou Yang and Qin Fengxiu stopped when they heard the sound, and quickly turned around to feel it. Fine. Although the soul was severely damaged, the original true spirit has not dispersed. After careful inspection, Qin Hao breathed a sigh of relief. Looking at Zhang Wuliang's appearance, it seemed that he had been subjected to the secret method of soul refining. Normally, the secret method of soul refining would basically collapse. But Zhang Wuliang seemed to have practiced a mysterious ancient method. The true soul of the Yuan Shen was sealed. After that, Qin Hao unleashed the Taoist immortal light and nourished it with the original immortal method. If nothing unexpected happens, given time, Zhang Wuliang's spiritual wisdom can be reawakened. After nourishing Zhang with the original source after becoming the infinite soul, Qin Hao entered the 7-star space-time tower. This time, Qin Hao didn't even stay behind. Because he was going to attack the fairyland. Zhang Taishu, Zhou Yang, Qin Fengxiu and others all also practiced in seclusion. Although Zhang Wuliang was still alive, which made them extremely happy. But after the joy, the pressure from the immortal domain forces came overwhelming. Even Qin Yi and Zhang Juxing, who had stepped onto the level of the Emperor of Heaven, felt double the pressure. This at that time, in the Xianhuang universe, huge waves had already set off in various star fields. Who would have thought that the immortal ancient secret realm in the present world was actually a trap set by the true immortal of the immortal realm? The creatures that entered that secret realm this time were almost 99% of them were dead. Even those who were lucky enough to survive were seriously injured and went into seclusion one after another. The final collision between Qin Hao and Gu Wushuan reached the level of the immortal king. Even just a trace of that kind of destructive impact is harmful to humanity. The realm is extremely destructive. Therefore, it is unclear who fought against the true immortal of the immortal domain, and what the fate of that true immortal was. The creatures in the Xianhuang universe are not clear, causing endless rumors. Such as the immortal burial island and the Tao Holy Land joined forces to repel the true immortal. In the Xianhuang universe, there are still immortal spirits that survived from the ancient immortality. And again, the soul of the immortal king from the ancient immortality revived in this life and suppressed the immortal. True immortal. 30 years later. In the 7-star space-time tower. After 70 times the flow of time, Qin Hao, who had been sitting cross-legged in seclusion for more than 2,000 years, felt his whole body vibrate with immortal magic. The 6 secret realms in his body were as bright as stars at this moment, and his spirit and body were perfectly integrated. In the lock pool of the 6th secret realm, there are traces of brilliance scattered. Those brilliance were the essence of Gu Wushuan's original immortal soul, which was completely absorbed by Qin Hao at this moment. In the Hongmeng immortal law, when the immortal law around him became more and more intense and terrifying, Qin Hao slowly opened his eyes. Aha! The next moment, with a flash of fairy light, Qin Hao had broken through the air and appeared above Dei Holy Land. Boom! Almost at the moment Qin Hao appeared, Xianhuang ancient star was awakened like a sleeping beast. An extremely destructive celestial thunder power descended suddenly. All the creatures in Xianhuang ancient star felt that their souls were trembling. Master, are you going to survive the immortal tribulation? In Dei Holy Land, Qin Yi, Zhang Juxing and others all woke up from seclusion. The boundless thunder and power are so terrifying. Compared with the original time when the road to becoming an immortal appeared, it was even worse, but not worse. Obviously, Qin Hao has been in seclusion for more than 2,000 years, and he is finally going to go through the immortal tribulation today. Fantasy, after thousands of years of seclusion, I became a saint. Author, love to eat chicken legs. Chapter 211. Immortal Calamity. Xianhuang ancient star? Could it be that the Taoist heavenly emperor is about to undergo an immortal calamity? Like the ancient war immortal, who defied the will of heaven and became an immortal in an era when it was impossible to become an immortal. At this moment, not only Dei Holy Land, but also the creatures in the entire Xianhuang universe felt a strong feeling in their hearts. Such overwhelming immortal power was even more terrifying than that battle between true immortals. Those in the mysterious star field, all the ancient creatures were awakened and looked at the Xianhuang ancient star in shock. Deep in the universe, the immortal burial island that seemed to be transformed by the law emerged again. Before the heaven and earth dry up, can you prove the true immortality? On the immortal burial island, the mysterious old man had a strange flash of color in his deep and vicissitudes of eyes. Since the road to immortality appeared and disappeared, the suppression of the Xianhuang universe has become more and more terrifying. To a certain extent it is said that the current Xianhuang universe has entered the true age of the end of the Dharma. Although Qin Hao's Tianxin mark has been suppressing all the ways, allowing all the spirits in the universe to realize the Tao. However, the mysterious old man could sense that this it is the glory before decline. Because the heaven and earth are constantly seizing the power of all spirits in the universe, including the essence of life. If it continues at this speed, it is estimated that in less than an era, Xianhuang universe will be unable to practice. Qin Hao at this critical moment, he is about to prove the Tao and become an immortal. Is this a coincidence? Or is Qin Hao preparing to reopen the world? Boom! The black and yellow ancient star is above the 9 heavens. Countless dazzling fairy thunders are rolling in the rolling thunder clouds, all souls were throbbing. Qin Hao stood calmly, his white clothes rustling, looking calmly at the destructive immortal thunder calamity. In such a plain expression, he was filled with reassuring confidence. Dei Holy Land, who was originally quite worried and nervous, the person couldn't help but feel relieved. Click! A dragon-shaped lightning flashed through the thunder. Immediately afterwards, endless fairy thunder crashed down overwhelmingly. Although those fairy thunders were full of destruction, they also carried enough the innate essence that cleanses the dust. The immortal tribulation. It is also known as the innate thunder tribulation. Anyone who survives the immortal tribulation will transform into an innate being, absorb the innate immortal energy, and will not be stained by the mortal world. For those who are blasted down during the world-destroying thunder catastrophe, Qin Hao's face was calm, and he stepped up to the sky. As Qin Hao stepped forward, all the immortal thunder catastrophes were attracted by him and bombarded towards him. It looked like it was a huge thunderstorm. Qin Hao was the source of that thunderstorm. To achieve immortality and temper the physical body. On the immortal burial island, the strange look in the eyes of the mysterious old man was even worse. Even he was quite shocked by such crazy behavior. Qin Hao has great ambitions. He not only wants to cleanse himself in the mortal world, he still needs to use the immortal calamity to temper his supreme body. If this move is successful, then Qin Hao will probably be an invincible existence at the same level at the true immortal level in the future. Buzzing buzzing. As he continues to ascend to the sky, breaking into the destructive fairy thunder disaster. A purple mark appeared between Qin Hao's eyebrows, which was the Hongmeng mark. At this moment, the Hongmeng mark trembled slightly, and there were strands of Hongmeng purple energy, filling the air. Out. Receive. Qin Hao drank while tempering his body with the immortal thunder tribulation, absorbing the Hongmeng purple qi. Those Hongmeng purple qi were derived from the essence of the Hongmeng seal refining the immortal thunder tribulation. As he absorbed the Hongmeng purple qi, Qin Hao's whole person is undergoing tremendous changes. Whether it is the Hongmeng immortal bones in his body, the transformed immortal soul, or the 6 secret realms, they are all radiant. There is a vague and ancient aura of prehistoric times, emitted from Qin Hao's body. Is that Taoist heavenly emperor enough to withstand the immortal thunder tribulation? The way Qin Hao overcame the calamity so easily and calmly shocked countless creatures in the Xianhuang universe. From ancient times to the present, even in the immortal ancient era, which creature could successfully overcome the calamity without a narrow escape? But Qin Hao seemed to have already become a master. Immortal, now, it's just a formality. Become an immortal. Is anyone in the Xianhuang universe going to become an immortal? As the pressure of the immortal tribulation becomes more and more terrifying, even the forces in the immortal realm are faintly alarmed. Of course, this is also because the forces in the immortal realm have been trying to enter the Xianhuang universe. If it is just simple, coming to the Xianhuang universe will naturally not be a difficult task for the immortal domain forces. But if you want to come to the Xianhuang universe to compete for the inheritance of the immortal ancients, you must get rid of the pressure of the immortal ancients. As for the immortal king, directly the giant is coming. Judging from the trials over the years, once an immortal king arrives, the Xianhuang universe will probably collapse directly. Obviously, this should be the backup plan left by those rebellious immortal kings who fell in the ancient times. And letting the Xianhuang universe collapse is not what the forces in the immortal domain want to see. At the very least, before the immortal ancient heritage is born, the immortal king-level existence cannot come to the Xianhuang universe. Swallow. The immortal catastrophe that destroyed the heaven and the earth came to an end only 2 days later. Qin Hao, who was already in the immortal thunder tribulation, opened his mouth and swallowed all the silk threads of the immortal thunder tribulation. Wisps of extremely pure Hongmeng purple qi are constantly overflowing from the Hongmeng mark between the eyebrows. The absorption of these Hongmeng purple qi causes Qin Hao's physical body to undergo continuous transformation. Whether it is the internal organs or the flesh and bones, they are all transformed. It was crystal clear and not stained by any dust. There was still vaguely innate energy flowing in Qin Hao's body. Innate essence. This means that Qin Hao completely transformed into an innate body and gave birth to innate essence. From then on, even if there is no immortality, Qin Hao can live for a long time that is almost eternal. Unless this world is destroyed. After all, Qin Hao is the enlightenment in the laws of this world. If this world is destroyed, Qin Hao's avenue and brand will also lose their foundation. After swallowing the immortal tribulation and completely entering the immortal realm, Qin Hao's expression suddenly changed. He sensed a very special fluctuation from the Xianhuang universe. It felt like the Xianhuang universe had its own will. This surprised Qin Hao. This was the first time he had seen this kind of thing. Even in ancient books, it had never been recorded. Qi. When Qin Hao used the origin of the immortal soul to carefully sense and capture the special fluctuation, the Xianhuang universe at this moment, there was a sudden shock, and thousands of life star fields were almost overturned. Immediately afterwards, a deep space black hole appeared in the sky above the Xianhuang universe. A vague immortal seal that seemed to be the origin of the avenue flew out from it, integrating into the origin of Qin Hao's immortal soul. This is immortal ancient mark. After Qin Hao's immortal soul returned to his body, he concentrated on exploring the fuzzy immortal seal. Soon, Qin Hao's expression was shocked and he understood what the fuzzy immortal seal was. They were actually the fallen supreme immortal kings in the ancient immortal era. The immortal ancient seal condensed together. With this immortal ancient seal added to him, Qin Hao can command the will of Xianhuang universe. You know, the will of Xianhuang universe is actually the will of the immortal king of immortal ancient, integrated with the will of Xianhuang universe. Transformed from the origin. This is why the laws of the Xianhuang universe can suppress foreign immortal creatures. And in this way, even if the immortal king of the immortal realm comes, Qin Hao will not be without the power to fight. This also makes Qin Hao is becoming more and more confident in his own plan. He actually got the marks of the ancient immortal kings. On the immortal burial island far away in the depths of the universe, the mysterious old man appeared for the first time with a face that could not be concealed. He stood up, as if he wanted to leave the immortal burial island, but in the end, he endured it. Now that he has received the marks of the ancient immortal kings, his plan is about to change. The mysterious old man stood still and murmured to himself. Fantasy, after thousands of years of seclusion, I became a saint. Author, love to eat chicken legs. Chapter 212. Emperor, success. In the Holy Land, a true immortal was born. Seeing that the immortal thunder tribulation above the 9 heavens had dissipated, the creatures in the Dei Holy Land were all extremely ecstatic. In this time of immortality, a true immortal appeared in their holy land. What does this mean? From then on, the Xianhuang universe, everyone will respect Dei Holy Land. Only Dei Holy Land now has the qualifications to truly be respected by everyone in the universe. The status of the monks in Dei Holy Land will naturally rise with the tide, and no one dares to provoke them. Oh! Above the 9 heavens, there are generals. Qin Hao, who had the ancient imprint integrated into his immortal soul, took a step forward and returned to Dei Holy Land. The boundless, eternal, and supreme immortal power swept away unscrupulously. All the creatures in the Xianhuang universe felt that a tower appeared above their heads. The mountains disappeared. The overwhelming power made them unable to help but want to kneel down and worship. Those cosmic giants who sensed it with the mysterious method of Yuan mystery trembled in their hearts, and their Yuan Shen almost collapsed. Fortunately, the immortal and immortal supreme immortal power faded away like a tide and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Obviously, this was Qin Hao, who had restrained his true immortal power. This also made Xianhuang Ancient Star, all the creatures in the universe breathe a sigh of relief. However, this also made the creatures in the Xianhuang universe even more shocked. Just the pressure of the immortal Dao almost made people's souls shatter. If Qin Hao was really angry, then I'm afraid that in just one thought, all the stars in the sky can be wiped out. Congratulations to the Emperor, for proving the Tao and enlightening the mind, for achieving immortality in the fairyland. At this time, all the monks in Dei Holy Land, led by Zhang Taishu, knelt down excitedly. Millions of monks knelt down and worshipped. The momentum was quite shocking. Qin Hao smiled and waved his clothes. Sleeves, endless essence of immortality, scattered on the monks of Dei Holy Land. This is the essence of immortality extracted from the immortal thunder tribulation. Although it is not much, it is definitely a heaven-defying opportunity for the monks of the Holy Land in the human realm. After that, Qin Hao's figure moved and returned to the temple of Dei Holy Land. 5 days later, Dei Holy Land hosted a banquet for all spirits to congratulate Qin Hao for becoming an immortal. Qin Hao will impart his insights on the immortal way that day. As soon as the news came out, the Xianhuang universe was boiling. Whether it was the human race, the great emperor, the demon race, demon emperor, the ancient emperors of 10,000 races, and the ancient heavenly lords all came to worship. This huge feast lasted for 10 days before gradually dissipating. Countless creatures in the universe were enlightened, and even ancient giants, long kneeling in front of Dei Holy Land, he wanted to worship Qin Hao. After Qin Hao preached, he entered the immortal ancient forbidden land for retreat. As for the 7 stars time and space tower, it is meaningless to him now. Because of the 7 stars time and space tower, the power of time and space cannot change the time flow rate of immortal beings. However, Qin Hao, who is in the ancient forbidden land of immortality, still practices under the doubling of time. Because the law of time and space he has comprehended is no longer weaker than the 7 stars time and space tower. In retreat before, Qin Hao left the immortal transformation pond he obtained on the road to immortality to Qin Yi. In today's Holy Land, the only person who has the greatest hope of reaching the immortal realm is Qin Yi. Others in the Holy Land, even if they are at the same level as the Emperor of Heaven Zhang Juxing, has not glimpsed the level of immortality. In the immortal ancient forbidden land, the fairy spirit can be exchanged for the 9th turn of Xiangong and the 5th turn of Pangu's immortal body. Qin Hao, who was surrounded by the laws of time and space, entered the 9-story fairy tower with a deep voice. In the 9-story fairy tower, the information about Qin Hao has changed. Host, Qin Hao. Cultivation, immortal realm, the realm of true immortality. Hongmeng Qi Luck Immortal Foundation, Hongmeng Qi Luck Immortal Technique, the 6 secret realms blend together, and the body and soul are perfectly integrated. Skill, 9 turns mysterious technique. The 4th turn, the realm of perfection, Hongmeng Qi Luck Immortal Seal. Physique, Pangu's immortal body. The 4th turn, the realm of perfection, the blessing of Hongmeng Luck, the condensed Hongmeng immortal bones *399 supernatural powers, the art of transforming 3 pure states with 1 energy, the Nirvana Sutra, the 6 paths of reincarnation fist, the 10 ominous treasures, the immortal tribulation sword technique, and the 9 supreme secrets. Luck value, 1,798,045,000. The stronger the foundation of Dei Holy Land, the longer the inheritance, the more luck value. Immortal Tower, 9 floors can be opened. Can use luck value to exchange for various fairy tower treasures. Exchange the 9-turn mysterious power, Pangu's immortal body, the 5th turn consumes 100 billion luck values. With the ethereal voice of the tower spirit, it sounded in the 7-star space-time tower. Thousands of Hongmeng fairy lights, with clearly visible ancient laws, fell like a torrent. Qin Hao's body shook slightly, and endless mysterious Taoist laws, it came to mind. From those mysterious Taoist teachings, Qin Hao vaguely saw the vision of the beginning of the world and the birth of all spirits. Qin Hao's whole mind was immersed in those mysterious insights. He had 300 souls in his body. The 99 Hongmeng immortal bones all bloomed with the Hongmeng immortal light. Vaguely, on those Hongmeng immortal bones, there were totems of chaos emerging, like a brand. In Qin Hao's realization, time passed quickly. Since Qin Hao's Zhengdeozhen immortal queen and the entire Xianhuang universe are rarely calm. The monks of Dei Holy Land are rapidly growing with the resources of the fairy spiritual energy in the 4 secret realms such as Netherworld Mansion. Almost every few years, in the 7-star time and space tower, there will be out of the powerful emperors. Hundreds of years have flown by like this. In these 100 years, the number of powerful emperors in Dei Holy Land has almost doubled, breaking through 50. Of course, the one who has made the most astonishing progress is Qin Yi. With the help of the Huaxianke, Qin Yi successfully walked out of her own way with the origin of innate chaos. Now she has broken through the bottleneck of the human realm and seen the immortal realm. Of course, now she only sees it. It was only possible to become an immortal. After walking her own path, Qin Yi handed over the immortal pond to Zhang Juxing. The realization of the immortal pond had already illuminated a path for her. She had to take the next road by herself. Okay. 200 years later, the great sage Liwo, Zhou Yang, Qin Fengxiu, and Yao Baxian all stepped into the level of the Emperor of Heaven. Zhang Wuliang's soul awakened, Qin Hao came out of seclusion, exchanged the supreme ancient method, and allowed Zhang Wuliang to regain his body. Practice. 300 years later, Zhang Taishu, who was entering his old age, realized Taoism, stepped onto the level of the Emperor of Heaven, and his energy and blood returned to the peak. Qin Yi used the method of chaos to live out his second life, and his enlightenment on becoming an immortal became even more profound. 400 years later, Prince Zixiao attained the throne of Heavenly Emperor. Zhang Wuliang, who had recultivated, entered the Emperor realm with great accumulation. In Dei Holy Land, the number of powerful Emperor realm masters exceeded 100. A few years later, the great sage Liwo, Zhou Yang, Qin Fengxiu, and Demon Tyrant all lived their second lives together. 500 years later, Feng Wuxia, who had been in seclusion and merged with the body of an ancient warrior immortal, finally merged successfully. Although he has not yet attained the immortal way, the physical body is strong, but it can rival the level of a true immortal. In the same year, a chaotic phenomenon appeared in Dei Holy Land, and Qin Yi finally came into contact with the fairy land. After realizing Taoism, Zhang Taishu made rapid progress in cultivation, stepped into the level of the Emperor of Heaven, and his energy and blood once again reached nirvana. Time flies and 700 years have passed. Qin Hao, who had been in seclusion in the immortal ancient forbidden land, slowly opened his eyes. In those deep eyes, there was Hongmeng fairy light and chaotic fairy magic emerging. Qin Hao, who is under the laws of time and space, has been practicing for more than 40,000 years. Over the past 40,000 years, Qin Hao's exploration and understanding of the way of true immortality has become more and more thorough. In the Hongmeng immortal technique, there is a prehistoric aura born. The Hongmeng immortal bones had condensed into 430 pieces. As a result, the Hongmeng battle axe transformed and evolved into the ancient French language. The shadows of the 12 ancestral witches were born with their own origins. The reincarnation treasure technique is also a breakthrough, condensing the fourth reincarnation seal. It can be said that Qin Hao's strength has changed completely since he survived the catastrophe of becoming an immortal. The reason why Qin Hao woke up from seclusion was that the forces of the immortal realm were finally coming. Boom! After Qin Hao left the immortal ancient forbidden land, a vast and boundless immortal pressure swept across the entire Xianhuang universe. Countless creatures all looked at Xianhuang ancient star with fear and discoloration. I saw the ancient star Xianhuang, above the 9 heavens, on the road to immortality, actually born at this moment. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, after thousands of years of seclusion, I became a saint. Author, love to eat chicken legs. Chapter 213. Road to Immortality. What happened? Why does the road to immortality appear? In 100,000 years, the road to immortality will not appear twice, but now. Not to mention 100,000 years, it hasn't even been 10,000 years since the road to immortality last appeared. Look, on the road to immortality, a true immortal appears. Is it another ancient vision? No, that's not a vision. They want to walk on the road to immortality. Could it be? In the Xianhuang universe, countless powerful creatures looked at the path to immortality that appeared in horror. Unbelievable exclamations continued to resound in various star fields. Because on the road to immortality, not only traces of true immortals appeared. Those true immortals are obviously testing the suppression of the laws of Xianhuang universe, hoping to find their way to becoming immortals. At this moment, all the creatures in the Xianhuang universe had a horrifying thought. In the immortal realm, are there any true immortals who want to go down to the next world? And this time, it seems, there are more than one or two. Whoosh! In the Dei Holy Land, silhouettes of people appeared in the air and appeared around Qin Hao. Respect. It is Yao Baxian, Qin Yi, Zhang Juxing, Fen Wuxia and others. Feeling the overwhelming immortal power radiating on the road to becoming an immortal, their expressions are extremely dignified. The higher their cultivation level, the clearer they will be. I feel how terrifying the realm of immortality is. How many people from ancient times to modern times can defy heaven and defeat immortals in the realm of humanity? At the very least, even Qin Yi, who has touched the realm of immortality, has no confidence that he can deal with the real one. Immortal. Among them, the only one who can fight against a true immortal is Fen Wuxia, who has merged with the body of the ancient war immortal. But that can only be a confrontation. After all, even the ancient war immortal himself is probably not able to fight against the true immortals of the immortal realm. The only thing worth celebrating is that the ancient immortal laws of the immortal realm will suppress the foreign immortal creatures. Apparently, no immortal king-level giant has arrived. Qin Hao watched for a while, and after the road to becoming an immortal became increasingly clear, he slowly spoke. This made Qin Yi and others sigh in relief. At the level of a true immortal, with Qin Hao's current cultivation level, coupled with the suppression of the immortal ancient law, it should be able to deal with it. However, the suppression of the laws of Xianhuang universe is disappearing. But what Qin Hao said immediately shocked them. The suppression of the laws of the Xianhuang universe is disappearing? Doesn't that mean that the true immortals in the immortal realm will not be affected by the suppression of the laws? In that case, even if without the arrival of the giant immortal king, it would have been a catastrophe for the Xianhuang universe. Is the immortal king of the immortal realm fighting against the ancient laws of the Xianhuang universe? Qin Hao's eyes flashed slightly. It seems that there was more than one immortal king giant who took action against the suppression of the ancient immortal law. Is there any abnormality in the previous arrangements for you to stay in the cosmic star field? Afterwards, Qin Hao asked Qin Yi and others. No. Qin Yi, Zhang Juxing and others were moved in their minds. Was the deployment of the star field that Qin Hao attached so much importance to at the beginning to deal with the situation at hand? Qin Hao nodded slightly, but just in case, he still used his Dharma body to quietly went to check. The deployment of the universe star field is the most important link in his plan, and there must be no mistakes. At this time, in the fairyland, at the end of the fairy gate, one statue after another, the majestic Dharmakaya with the overwhelming power of the immortal power, appearing in front of the immortal gate. Each of those majestic Dharmakayas is a famous immortal king giant in the immortal realm. After hundreds of years of exploration, the immortal realm finally found the most appropriate method. That is the immortal king of the immortal realm. The giant restrains the ancient laws of the Xianhuang universe. Without letting the Xianhuang universe collapse, it can also prevent the true immortals in the fairyland from being suppressed by the laws. As for who can obtain the ancient inheritance of the Xianhuang universe, it depends on the destiny of each successor. Time passes slowly. The road to becoming an immortal above the 9 heavens is becoming more and more clear. On the road to becoming an immortal, more and more true immortals from the immortal realm are constantly appearing. The immortal law of destruction exuded is even more terrifying. After Qin Hao investigated the deployment in the universe star field, he has been quietly preparing. During this period, the immortal burial island appeared from the depths of the universe for the first time. Arrived at Xianhuang ancient star. But within a few days, immortal burial island disappeared again. It seemed that he did not want to get involved in such trouble. Qin Hao only paid a little attention to immortal burial island, and then the focus returned to his plan. Boom! After several months, the road to immortality that had been suspended above everyone's heads finally arrived with a bang. At this moment, the Xianhuang universe was shaking violently, and countless ancient stars of life were directly shattered and annihilated. That's because the coercion of the immortal Dao that radiates on the road to immortality is too terrifying. In the past, even if the road to immortality manifested, it would still be far away from the Xianhuang ancient star. This is why, after entering the road to immortality, in the future, all living beings will be teleported away. But now, the road to immortality is real, and it has arrived in the Xianhuang universe. It is natural to imagine how terrible the impact caused by that. On the contrary, that the nearest Xianhuang ancient star was not shattered. First, the Xianhuang ancient star was filled with the strongest ancient immortal laws. Secondly, Qin Hao's Hongmeng immortal law withstood the impact of the destructive immortal power. It's finally out. As the immortal light flashed, figures with overwhelming auras came out one after another on the road to becoming immortals. They are all descendants of the power of the immortal realm, and those with the weakest cultivation have set foot in the true immortals. Many of them have already been in the immortal realm. He has achieved extremely high attainments in the true immortal realm. In the holy land of Dao Yi, Qin Hao stood in the sky, sensing the coming true immortals. As expected, according to previous investigations, no true immortal giants had arrived. There are only a few true immortals who can compare with Gu Wushuan in the past. Of course, in today's Xianhuang universe, where the ancient laws of immortality are restrained. Even if the true immortals who come are not as good as Gu Wushuan, their strength is probably not weak. So, Gu Wushuan, who came from the lower world. After all, Gu Wushuan was always under the suppression of the immortal law. Even if he sacrificed the fixed light bead, and even in the end, sacrificed the soul of the immortal king, he could not completely get rid of the suppression of the immortal ancient laws. In this universe, a true immortal was indeed born. Under such a suppressed situation, he can still become an immortal in the face of adversity. It's amazing. Not only has he become an immortal, his cultivation is strong enough to rival the rest of us. No wonder, the descendants of the eternal immortal sect will all fall into this universe. Indeed, if the senior immortal kings of the immortal realm had not joined forces to contain the suppression of those laws, I am afraid that our cultivation would not be able to perform at least 20% to 30%. After walking out of the path to becoming an immortal, those descendants of the immortal realm immediately sensed the aura of Qin Hao's immortal magic. This made many descendants of the immortal realm extremely surprised. As far as they know, Qin Hao has only been 7 years since he became an immortal. It's only been more than 100 years. And for immortal beings, hundreds of years are really just a nap. But Qin Hao's terrifying immortal power is not weaker than them at all. Even if Xianhuang universe is Qin Hao home field, but this increase in strength is too astonishing. You must know that those with the shortest cultivation among them have hundreds of thousands of years. Those with top-notch cultivation have millions or even hundreds of years. Thousands of years. Whoosh! At this time, among the thousands of immortal creatures, dozens of true immortals flew out. They came out fiercely, their expressions were cold, and they faintly exuded a cold and murderous intention. From those people with the logo, it can be clearly seen that they are all members of the eternal immortal sect. Fantasy, after thousands of years of seclusion, I became a saint. Author, love to eat chicken legs. Chapter 214. We are from the immortal realm, descendants of the eternal immortal sect. My senior brother came to Xianhuang ancient star before, You should know, right? After breaking through the sky to the holy land of Deo, those descendants of the eternal immortal sect looked proud and spoke coldly. Qin Hao only became an immortal hundreds of years ago after the death of his senior brother of the immortal sect. At that time, Qin Hao it should be impossible for his senior brother of the immortal sect to be robbed. After all, his senior brother of the immortal sect has a terrifying trump card that is enough to resist the immortal king. Even if this universe has extremely terrifying ancient laws of the immortal, it is impossible for him to die. The hands of human beings. But Qin Hao should know something about that battle. Have no idea. Qin Hao stood in the sky, his white clothes fluttering, and he spoke calmly. Regarding the fact that Gu Wushuan was killed by him, not many people even in Dei Holy Land knew about it. In the Xianhuang universe, although there are various rumors, no one has seen it. The scene where he suppressed Gu Wushuan. In other words, everyone who saw that scene was affected and died. Naturally, Qin Hao would not admit this in front of the eternal immortal sect. After all, among the eternal immortal sect, there is a supreme immortal king sitting in charge. Qin Hao has no way to fight against the immortal king giant now. At the very least, he cannot provoke the immortal king giant before his plan succeeds. My senior brother's death was felt even by the immortal realm, but you don't know. The true immortal of the eternal immortal sect, his eyes darkened, filled with piercing murderous intent. Qin Hao's expression was obviously knowing, but he seemed not to say it. A universe that had already fallen, actually dared to defy them for eternity. The order of the immortal sect? Feeling the overwhelming murderous intention emitted by the true immortals of the eternal immortal sect, the people in Dei Holy Land all changed their colors. Those were true immortals from the immortal realm, and there were dozens of them. Even though Qin Hao has stepped into the true immortal level, I am afraid that it is difficult to deal with such a formation, right? Click. At this moment, a huge crack appeared in the depths of the Xianhuang universe without any warning. At first glance, it looked like a starry sky in the universe. An endless abyss appeared. In that crack, there was endless immortal ancient aura, sweeping out overwhelmingly. At this moment, all creatures in the Xianhuang universe were alarmed. The breath of the immortal king. Is the ancient inheritance hidden in the Xianhuang universe about to be born? It can't be such a coincidence, right? On Xianhuang ancient star, those descendants of the immortal realm who were originally preparing to watch the show were alarmed. In an instant, all the immortal realm creatures crossed the void and fled towards the crack in the universe. Those true immortals of the eternal immortal sect, after looking at each other, they also hurried over. This time, the people from the lower realm came to find out about Gu Wushuan's death, just by the way. Their main task was to fight for the lost inheritance of the immortal ancient period. But among those descendants of the immortal realm, but almost no one knows what the lost inheritance of the immortal realm is. It can only be roughly inferred from ancient books in the past. It seems that those core inheritances are related to an immortal tower. Big Brother. After the immortal cultivators from the eternal immortal sect left, Zhou Yang, Qin Fengxiu and others flew over with solemn expressions. The rare immortal fate is about to be born, why are you looking so sad? Seeing Zhou Yang and others in a solemn atmosphere, Qin Hao smiled softly. Senior brother, are we going to go too and compete for immortality? There are so many true immortals coming to the immortal realm this time. If they meet, Daoyi Holy Land and others looked at each other and could see the worry in their eyes. Of course, while they were worried, they were also quite curious, wondering what Qin Hao wanted to do. After attracting thousands of true immortals, Qin Hao actually looked like he didn't care at all. Don't worry, you won't run into them. Qin Hao still had a smile on his face, but deep in his eyes, there was already abiding coldness. As long as they entered the ancient ruins of the immortals, the lives of these immortal cultivators were not up to them. After that, Qin Hao will enter the Holy Land. Take those who want to enter the immortal ancient ruins and go to the depths of the universe. At this time, with the crack as the center and a radius of hundreds of millions of miles, they are surrounded by creatures from the universe. But they do not dare to get close at all. Because those core areas are occupied by thousands of immortals from the immortal realm. Previously, there were heavenly lord-level creatures that were killed by a true immortal at the snap of a finger. Those descendants of the immortal realm were talking about it, and there was an unconcealable expression on their faces. They were filled with excitement and joy. From the ancient aura emanating from the crack, they sensed the aura of the immortal king. Obviously, the ancient inheritance that countless forces in the immortal realm want to find should be inside. It seems that in the immortal realm, the restraints of those immortal king giants shocked the ancient ruins. In the Xianhuang universe, there are only two people who are qualified to set foot in that core area. One is Qin Hao, who has now become an immortal. The other is the first forbidden place in the Xianhuang universe, Immortal Burial Island. Under the control of the mysterious old man, Immortal Burial Island came directly. With the arrival of Immortal Burial Island, even the true immortals in the immortal realm couldn't help but look away. Because, from the Immortal Burial Island, they sensed an extremely palpitating aura. It seemed that there was an extremely terrifying immortal creature buried in the Immortal Burial Island. There were true immortal descendants with top-notch cultivation, looking at it with interest. Burial Immortal Island. If it weren't for the ancient immortal crack, they might not be able to hold back and test it. Boom. While waiting for this heated discussion, there was a loud noise coming from the huge ancient breath crack. Immediately afterwards, a dazzling fairy light shined from the crack. Following the bright fairy light, the creatures gathered together could be clearly seen. In that crack, there was a door filled with the breath of time and air. The ancient immortal gate. Judging from the aura of immortality exuded by that ancient immortal gate, it seems that as long as you step through that ancient immortal gate, you can return to the ancient immortal period. Phew. While watching, after a while, a true immortal from the immortal realm suddenly grabbed him in the air. As the laws of immortality filled the air, thousands of cosmic creatures were caught by him and thrown towards the ancient immortal door. Such an action frightened countless creatures around him, and they fled as fast as they could. The move of the immortal realm true immortal was obviously to use them to explore the way. The other true immortals in the immortal realm had no reaction to this, and just kept staring at the ancient immortal door. I saw a dazzling fairy light flickering from the ancient fairy door. Those cosmic creatures that were thrown over all disappeared. Full of time and space. There seems to be no forbidden fluctuations. Isn't there a ban? Otherwise, try again. Those descendants of the fairyland talked with each other and used various secret techniques to detect perceptions. Call out. At this moment, a figure stepped across the space and stepped directly into the ancient fairy door. That person is Qin Hao? Almost at the same time, the immortal light of the Immortal Burial Island's law flashed, followed by Lin Hao, and escaped into the ancient immortal door. Walk. This scene shocked the descendants of the immortal realm. After they looked at each other, they rushed into the ancient immortal door without hesitation. Until Qin Hao and the descendants of the immortal realm disappeared, everything in the universe's sense of spirituality came in. Despite the hesitation and temptation, there were still brave creatures who entered the ancient immortal gate. 10,000 immortals in the immortal realm arrived, Qin Hao personally came out, and the Immortal Burial Island also appeared. There is no doubt that this ancient immortal there must be a great opportunity hidden in the door. If you can get one or two, then maybe you can get a glimpse of the opportunity of immortality. At this time, the world is surrounded by immortal energy and filled with the atmosphere of ancient immortal times. There was a flash of fairy light, and Qin Hao appeared without any warning. Immortal ancient ruins. Finally come. Feeling the coercion of the heavy laws filling the world, Qin Hao's eyes flickered. Although it was his first time to come to this ancient ruins, it was not the first time he sensed such heavy ancient laws. Fantasy, after thousands of years of seclusion, I became a saint. Author, love to eat chicken legs. Chapter 215. Back then, Qin Hao had been in seclusion in the immortal ancient forbidden land since he returned from being seriously injured on the immortal road. It was also because of this that Qin Hao understood the secrets of the laws left by Emperor Dao in the immortal ancient forbidden land. The laws of Emperor Dao contained such extremely profound ancient laws. Because the Dao Emperor did indeed return to the immortal ancient period and brought back the immortal ancient forbidden zone. Of course, the immortal ancient forbidden land is just a cover. The real immortal ancient heritage treasure is the 9-story immortal tower. It was also at that time that Qin Hao learned about Emperor Dao's eternal plan. Call. With a wave of his sleeves, Zhang Taishu and other people from Dao Yi Holy Land were released from the laws of space. You are divided into 10 teams, follow the direction induced by this law seal, and go to find the immortal fate. After you find the immortal fate, crush this law mark, and there will be an ancient enchantment to protect you. If you don't find your destiny except for mistakes, then don't stay, use the teleportation talisman to leave immediately. With a thought in Qin Hao's mind, 10 ancient talismans of laws appeared in the void. Those ancient talismans were condensed by the laws left by Emperor Dao. The direction guided by these imprints of laws is exactly this ancient ruins of immortals. The treasure land of immortal fate. Zhang Taishu and more than 100 great emperors immediately divided into 10 teams, took over the mark of the law, and left in a hurry. Before coming, Qin Hao warned that he must move quickly and not meet people from the immortal realm. Because, Qin Hao will not go with them this time. Whether it is a blessing or a curse depends on their own destiny. After the people of Dai Holy Land dispersed and left, Qin Hao also escaped towards the depths of the ancient ruins. But after only flying for more than 100,000 miles, Qin Hao stopped. Come out. Qin Hao turned around and spoke calmly. In the dark, someone had been following him. Qin Hao was no stranger to the strange aura of immortal magic. Sure enough, as the void trembled slightly, a huge thing was revealed. It was the immortal burial island. On the immortal burial island, the mysterious old man no longer sat cross-legged as before. He stood up, and the aura he exuded had a heart-stopping itch. Your Excellency, follow me. Do you want to have a fight now? Double pupils appeared in Qin Hao's eyes, trying to see through the mysterious old man. But the aura of law filled with the immortal burial island was too weird. Even if he was close in front of him, Qin Hao could not see through the mysterious old man. However, that Qin Hao could see that the mysterious old man did not aspire to conquer the fairy land. This is why Qin Hao was not afraid of the mysterious old man before he reached the level of the Emperor of Heaven. On the contrary, the immortal burial island seemed to be hiding. It holds a lot of secrets and exudes a very dangerous atmosphere. This immortal ancient ruins was brought out by you after unsealing it, right? The mysterious old man did not make any move, but instead said something shocking, which moved Qin Hao. Qin Hao was really surprised. This mysterious old man actually knew that it was the ancient ruins that he summoned. Do you want to start the plan laid out by Emperor Dao in ancient times? Then, the mysterious old man spoke again, and what he said shocked Qin Hao even more. Who are you? Qin Hao's expression became calmer, and a pair of heavy pupils densely covered with symbols shone with deep light. Qin Hao had never revealed the layout of Emperor Dao, even to the people of Dao Yi Holy Land. This old man actually seemed to know extremely clear. How about not shocking Qin Hao? I'm just an old slave under the master. As for my master, you should have heard of, immortal king of the sky. What Qin Hao didn't expect was that the mysterious old man actually told his background openly. Immortal king of the sky. So. Qin Hao was shocked again and looked at the immortal burial island in disbelief. Whether it is the ancient secret book of Xianhuang universe or the message left by Emperor Dao, there are records about the Kangxiang immortal king. That Kangxiang immortal king is one of the most powerful supreme immortal kings in Xianhuang universe and the ancient immortal era. According to legend, during the great battle in Immortal Ancient, the immortal king of the sky fought against 7 immortal kings from other lands on his own. In the end, the immortal king of the firmament and the 7 immortal kings of foreign lands all collapsed in the long river of time. Since then, the powerful people in Xianhuang universe all thought that the Kangxiang immortal king had died. Now, this mysterious old man is said to be the servant of the Kangxiang immortal king? Doesn't that mean that the ancient immortal being buried in the immortal burial island, which has been passed down since ancient times, is the immortal king of the firmament? In the past, Emperor Dao once mentioned his plan to me and invited me to help. But in the end, I rejected his request. Although his idea was good, it was too unlikely to be feasible. Do you think that by gathering the geniuses of Xianhuang universe and cultivating them with these ancient immortal ruins, 10,000 true immortals can be born? Ignoring Qin Hao's shock, the mysterious old man spoke again. This possibility exists. After hearing this, Qin Hao was finally convinced. This mysterious old man indeed knew the layout of Emperor Dao. Because in Emperor Dao's layout, the plan of 10,000 immortals is the most important link. To be honest, there are 9 with the immortal tower on the first floor. If the geniuses of the entire universe are included in the Dai Holy Land, the luck value that can be born will be immeasurable. And the endless treasures in the immortal tower on the 9th floor can be continuously exchanged for luck values. Yes. He said that this is a virtuous circle of helping each other. This mysterious old man obviously does not know the existence of the 9-story fairy tower. Otherwise, he would not be so direct and simply say that Emperor Dao's plan is not feasible. Of course, although this possibility is. But to cultivate 10,000 immortals, it takes too long and the variables are too great. After that, Qin Hao spoke again. Although he felt that Emperor Dao's great plan of 10,000 immortals might succeed. However, Qin Hao did not act as planned by Emperor Dao. Don't you want to activate Emperor Dao's plan? When the mysterious old man heard this, a strange color appeared in his eyes, and he looked at Qin Hao seriously. He originally thought that Qin Hao was the reincarnation of Dao Emperor and would inherit the mantle of Dao Emperor. But now it seems that Qin Hao has his own ideas. Emperor Dao's plan is to cultivate all the immortals in the universe. Then use the power of 10,000 immortals to break the ancient seal of the immortals and let the Xianhuang universe reintegrate into the immortal realm. But I don't want to wait that long. This is the layout plan of the Dao Emperor. The Dao Emperor does not want to make Dao a holy land and raise the teachings to ascension. Instead, he wants to integrate the entire universe back into the laws of the immortal realm. And it is not just the Xianhuang universe. The rest of the universes that have been invaded by foreign realms will all ascend to the immortal realm. Because universes such as the Xianhuang universe were originally universes that were separated from the immortal realm during the immortal ancient period. Therefore, it is entirely possible for the Xianhuang universe to merge back again. I have to say, the Dao Emperor has an astonishing plan, and a shocking layout. Once successful, it will completely resolve the crisis of Xianhuang universe being unable to become an immortal and gradually declining. But as Qin Hao said, this plan is not only long, but also has too many variables. Immortal the forces in the Xianhuang universe have always been eyeing the ancient inheritance of the Xianhuang universe. If the Xianhuang universe were to continuously give birth to true immortals, it would be impossible for the immortal kings in the immortal domain not to notice it. It was also because of this that Qin Hao, after learning about the layout of the great emperor, has his own plan. So, what exactly do you want to do? The mysterious old man asked. Now, there are not 10,000 true immortals in this ancient ruins, but probably 9,099. Qin Hao raised his eyelids slightly and said calmly. This is also the only point of difference between Qin Hao's plan and Dao Emperor's layout. You want to sacrifice the thousands of immortals who have descended from the immortal realm. The eyes of the mysterious old man shrank sharply, and he couldn't help but take a breath, and looked at Qin Hao in great shock. Sacrifice to the immortals of the immortal realm. This kind of shocking plan is too crazy, right? To be honest, the mysterious old man didn't even think about it. Never, have I ever thought about this. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, after thousands of years of seclusion, I became a saint. Author, love to eat chicken legs. Chapter 216. Do you know the consequences of doing this? The mysterious old man who was shocked couldn't help but speak. But as soon as the words came out, the mysterious old man knew that these words were unnecessary. Now, all the immortals from the immortal realm have arrived, and they have all been introduced into this ancient ruins. It proves that Qin Hao has already thought through the consequences. Even if Qin Hao's plan is spread now, nothing will be changed. Because Qin Hao, who has received the marks of the ancient immortal kings, can control this ancient ruins. This is probably why Qin Hao directly told him such a plan. To kill a descendant of the eternal immortal sect and hold him to death is to offend the eternal immortal section. However, if you sacrifice all the immortals in this immortal realm here, then... Seeing Qin Hao's calm expression, the mysterious old man spoke again with a heavy tone. Although he didn't agree with the Dao Emperor's plan. But I don't agree even more with Qin Hao's crazy idea. There is no doubt that Qin Hao's actions will definitely offend the entire immortal domain. Not to mention Qin Hao's current situation, he is just at a real level. Even if you set foot in the immortal king realm, you cannot fight against the entire immortal realm. By then, even if Xianhuan universe can ascend to the immortal realm, won't it be inevitable that it will be destroyed? Or does Qin Hao not care about the life and death of the creatures in the Xianhuan universe? What he wants is just to let Dao Yi Holy Land go to the immortal realm. The Xianhuan universe and other lower universes have always been regarded as prisons by the immortal realm. Those who are in a cage will never be able to embark on the path to eternal life, and will die sooner or later. If that's the case, why bother thinking about it so much? Qin Hao's expression remained calm in response to this, without any disturbance. Buzz. Hearing Qin Hao's words, the mysterious old man fell silent and did not speak any more. But at this time, the immortal burial island suddenly began to tremble, and countless people, the aura of the immortal king filled the air. This made Qin Hao's heart skip a beat. Could the immortal king of the firmament be still alive? Owner. Even the mysterious old man was extremely shocked and excited. He has been guarding immortal burial island since ancient times. But this was the first time that the Lord reacted to him. This naturally made the mysterious old man excited. Because this means that his master is really still alive. The next moment, a trace of thought poured into the eyebrows of the mysterious old man, making him startled. After a long time, when the aura of the immortal king on the immortal burial island dissipated, the mysterious old man came back to his senses. You can go ahead with this plan, and I will take care of the aftermath. The mysterious old man looked at Qin Hao and said solemnly. Judging from his appearance, it seemed that he had received orders from Kangsheng immortal king. This also made Qin Hao even more surprised. Kangsheng immortal king, is he really still alive? This, if the news spreads, I am afraid that the entire immortal realm will be shaken by it. You know, the Kangsheng immortal king is one of the ancient immortal kings who rebelled from the immortal realm in the past. However, this time, we cannot kill all the descendants of the immortal realm in the lower realm. The mysterious old man said, and pointed out in the air, and a light point of law flew towards Qin Hao. In that light point of law, there was information about many forces in the immortal realm. Obviously, the descendants of these forces are the immortal king of the sky, and the people who were saved. Qin Hao frowned slightly. Judging from the power contained in the law of light, at least half of the people could not move. In this way, could it completely stimulate the deployment left by Emperor Dao? You must know that the plan of Emperor Dao is not just the ascension of Xianhuan universe. Many lower universes that followed Xianhuan universe were included in the entire deployment of Emperor Dao. But now, Qin Hao does not have so much time to adjust the deployment of Emperor Dao. Don't worry, sacrificing half of the true immortals is enough to ascend to the immortal realm. If you really do everything right, even if you go to the fairyland, it will be meaningless. The methods of those ancient forces in the immortal realm are not something you can hide even if you want to. Seeing Qin Hao's expression, the mysterious old man said with a hint. Good. Of course Qin Hao understood the meaning of the mysterious old man's words. To be honest, for Qin Hao, he really doesn't care about the Xianhuan universe or other universes. He doesn't have those who are neither relatives nor friends. Dao Great Emperor such a big heart, he wants to save all living things. His original plan was indeed to escape to the border areas and practice in seclusion after ascending to the immortal realm. As for the Xianhuan universe and other lower universes, they were just a cover for him to attract the attention of the immortal realm. And when his cultivation is strong enough, naturally, there is no need to worry about the revenge of the immortal domain forces. Of course, now that the Kangsheng immortal king of immortal burial island seems to be ready to take action, Qin Hao will naturally not refuse. With such a big person, if he comes forward, I think the forces in the immortal realm won't care much about him. And if you don't have to hide in seclusion, it will naturally be better. This guy is a ruthless character. Seeing Qin Hao leaving, the mysterious old man looked quite emotional. Although Qin Hao is the inheritance of the great Emperor Dao and has followed the path of the Hongmeng law of the great Emperor Dao, but Qin Hao's actions are comparable to those of the original Dao. The great emperor is much more cruel. With such a character, he must be able to live a prosperous life in the immortal realm. At this time, Qin Hao followed the memory of the great emperor and went deep into the end of the ancient ruins of the immortal. Along the way, Qin Hao met many descendants of the immortal realm forces. Some even fought for the immortal treasures and opportunities. Even the descendants of the immortal realm forces were eager to fight for it. This shows how much is hidden in these ancient ruins. Shocking treasure. Qin Hao was not involved in this. Before starting the plan, he wanted to find out the many mysteries of the immortal ancient period. The most important of them was naturally the 9-story building in his Soul Sea. The origin of the immortal tower. Qin Hao felt that there was a huge secret hidden in the origin of the 9-story immortal tower. Finally found. But after crossing the endless realm, Qin Hao met dozens of true immortals head-on. As the saying goes, enemies meet in a narrow road. This is true. Those dozens of people are the descendants of the eternal immortal sect. Hongmeng Dharma Seal. What about the people from my holy land? The moment he saw the eternal immortal sect and others, Qin Hao's eyes suddenly flashed with coldness. He had sensed the fluctuations of the law mark early on, and thought he was from the Daoyi Holy Land. However, he did not expect that the aura of the law mark was emitted from the eternal immortal sect and others. The result is naturally needless to say. Don't worry, not all of them died, and 2 of them escaped. However, your Daoyi Holy Land is worthy of being the number 1 holy land in the Xianhuan universe. It is only in the realm of humanity, but you have a lot of trump cards. Sensing Qin Hao's murderous intention, the true immortal of the eternal immortal sect didn't care and showed a contemptuous sneer. Boy, I asked you before, do you know about my senior brother of the immortal sect? As a result, you said, you don't know, right? But judging from the memories of the people in your holy land, it seems that this is not the case. While sneering with disdain, a burly true immortal young man walked out with sinister eyes. Apparently, he had extracted the souls of the people who had been killed in the Daoyi Holy Land and obtained the information about the Holy Land. Although he did not know the specific situation, but they had vaguely guessed Qin Hao's fight against Gu Wushuan. Of course, what concerned them more was that Qin Hao actually knew the location of this ancient ruins. Could it be that Qin Hao had come in before? Boom! Killing intent was raging in Qin Hao's eyes. He was too lazy to talk nonsense with them and stepped out in the air. The bright and dazzling Hongmeng fairy light radiated from the pores of Qin Hao's body. The terrifying fairy power was earth-shattering. Something looking for death. Seeing that Qin Hao dared to take the initiative, the true immortals of the eternal immortal sect sneered even more ferociously. Thinking that by proving the Tao in the Xianhuang universe, they could fight against dozens of them by themselves. Immediately, accompanied by the terrifying immortal treasure and the destruction immortal technique blasted out, the whole world shook violently. Such terrifying movement also attracted many immortal realm inheritances from the surrounding area. Fantasy, after thousands of years of seclusion, I became a saint. Author, love to eat chicken legs. Chapter 217. Are they from the eternal immortal sect? Are they, targeting Daoyi Holy Land again? That Gu Wushuan, wasn't he really killed by Daoyi Holy Land? If this is the case, there will definitely be more than one true immortal in that Taoist Holy Land. Those descendants of the immortal realm watched the show with great interest when they saw Qin Hao and others launching a massacre. Wrong. This guy. But soon, those descendants of the immortal realm showed their shocked faces. Because Qin Hao, who was fighting against dozens of people, was not at a disadvantage at all. Qin Hao, who was dazzling with fairy light, like a bright sun, took out 4 fairy swords and attacked wantonly. The destruction and killing of dozens of people from the eternal immortal sect was actually cut into pieces by Qin Hao with ease. In this short period of time, several people have suffered fatal attacks and almost died. Such terrifying combat power would be nothing more than the descendants of those immortal forces in the immortal realm. But Qin Hao is just a true immortal who has declined the universe. Even if it takes advantage of the location, it's impossible for it to be so powerful, right? How could this guy master so many immortal and forbidden arts? Could it be that he has obtained the inheritance of immortal ancient? The ones who are most shocked are naturally the people of the eternal immortal sect. They have long lost the contempt they had before, and their expressions and eyes are extremely dignified. Only after fighting in person can we know how powerful Qin Hao's strength is and how devastating it is. Situation. Cut. Qin Hao's eyes were cold, but he didn't have any trouble. He squeezed the sword skills in his hand and reappeared his killing skills. Among the 4 swords of Zhu Xian, there was blood light rising into the sky, and they all burst out with destructive sword energy. I saw 4 paths between the heaven and the earth. The terrifying sword light in the starry sky, like a galaxy, slashed out vertically and horizontally. Where the sword light passed, the void, laws, immortal magic, and murderous intent were all shattered inch by inch. It was the desolation sword technique. Tisk. Immediately, rich blood spread out. The flavorful immortal blood is scattered in the void, and every drop is as heavy as a stone. It is the blood of a true immortal. If it were placed in the Xianhuang universe, 1 drop would be enough to crush a star field. However, in this ancient ruins of immortals, but even the void cannot be crushed. Because this ancient ruins of immortality are filled with an extremely heavy aura of laws. That is the perfect law of the avenue. To a certain extent, the avenue of heaven and earth in this ancient ruins of immortals, it is no longer weaker than the immortal realm. This is why Emperor Dao wants to cultivate the Xianhuang universe's plan for the 10,000 immortals here. Of course, compared to the immortal realm, this ancient ruins of the immortals lack one of the most important origins. Things. That is, the matter of immortality. Without the matter of immortality, even if you reach the level of a true immortal, Your lifespan will eventually be exhausted. Hateful. Set up the formation. Seeing that under Qin Hao's move, 4 true immortals were killed and even their immortal souls were banned. The burly true immortal in the eternal immortal sect roared ferociously and ordered. Swish, swish, swish. Immediately, the remaining true immortals of the eternal immortal sect immediately spread out and turned into an ancient killing array. The roar of the mighty immortal magic summoned a huge and ferocious immortal tiger. The immortal tiger had 4 wings on its back and a head on its forehead. A killing talisman is condensed on it, exuding overwhelming murderous intent. Tianhu's deadly formation. There was an exclamation. A descendant from the immortal realm recognized this supreme killing formation in the eternal immortal section. When this formation is set up, it can condense the cultivation of all those who set up the formation and awaken the soul of the immortal ancient heavenly tiger. It can be said that the ferocious sky tiger is the fusion of the cultivation of dozens of true immortals from the eternal immortal sect. It can be imagined that at this time, the immortal ancient sky tiger contains what kind of terrifying and destructive killing power. Roar. With a deafening roar, the immortal ancient heavenly tiger stepped on the boundless evil wind. Even the evil winds derived from it contained killing power that was enough to tear the sky apart. The immortal ancient heavenly tiger exploded. The killing power is naturally more terrifying, enough to shake the heavens. Die. But Qin Hao was unmoved by this and attacked him head-on. In a pair of ancient immortal eyes, endless mysterious symbols flickered, deriving a killing calamity that reached the sky. After that, the 4 swords of Zhu Xian merged into one, and he stabbed violently with one sword in the air. When the immortal light of reincarnation swept across, the immortal ancient heavenly tiger was cut in half by Qin Hao's sword. Not only that, even the soul of the immortal ancient heavenly tiger was sealed by Qin Hao using the law pool. There was a deafening boom, followed by a loud explosion. The magic circle set up by the people of the eternal immortal sect exploded directly, turning into a violent law and wreaking havoc. How come? This caused everyone in the eternal immortal sect to feel backlash and looked at Qin Hao in disbelief. After gathering the strength of dozens of people and setting up the Sky Tiger Death formation, Qin Hao actually split it into pieces with one move. Is it true that Qin Hao came to the real fairyland hundreds of years ago? A terrible killing technique. Judging from the killing aura, it is most likely a forbidden technique created by immortal magic. This guy can't be. By this time, even those descendants of the immortal realm who were very interested were showing strange expressions. No matter from which aspect, Qin Hao has confidence that is not weaker than that of the descendants of the immortal realm. Even the endless array of supreme killing techniques were even more astonishing than those from the immortal realm. This immediately reminded them of the ancient immortal inheritance lost in the Xianhuan universe. Everyone, this son, 8-9 out of 10, has received the inheritance of immortal ancient. Among the descendants of the eternal immortal sect who suffered backlash, the burly true immortal spoke in a low voice. These words made the descendants of the immortal realm around him who had had such thoughts move. With Qin Hao showing, judging from the combat power, this possibility is very high. Very high. Die. Qin Hao sneered when he heard this, and rushed out with overwhelming murderous intent. As the 4 swords of Zhu Xian roared, countless destructive sword energies swept through the world and exploded. Do you still want to watch the show? Once the news spreads and is known to other forces, it will be very difficult to succeed. The expressions of the people of the eternal immortal sect all changed, and they immediately joined forces to fight. While resisting, they also made a voice again to join forces with the descendants of the surrounding immortal domain. But this time Qin Hao's combat power is much higher than before. There was a huge transformation. As the destructive sword light swept across, the magic of reincarnation and the light of time and space filled the void of heaven and earth and never dispersed. In an instant, several true immortals in the eternal immortal sect were dead and imprisoned. Seal up. At this time, some of the descendants of the surrounding immortal realm were persuaded by the eternal immortal sect to take action with ancient immortal techniques. Seeing this, the other descendants of the immortal realm also joined in the fight, using various destructive killing techniques. Qin Hao's body, if there is really an ancient inheritance, then now is the best chance to get it. When the people of the eternal immortal sect saw this, they all showed strong joy, and their attacks became more and more fierce. If you want to die, I will give you a ride. In response to this, Qin Hao sneered even more, and his whole body bloomed with a grand fairy light, and a chaotic fairy mist filled the air. Immediately afterwards, a huge and majestic statue condensed in the chaotic fairy mist. It was the 12 ancestral witches, the Dharma appearance. But compared to the past, the current Dharma appearance of the 12 ancestral witches has undergone earth-shaking changes. The most striking point is that the Dharma appearances of the 12 ancestral witches have gradually condensed into their true form. This is because Qin Hao's tens of thousands of years of practice in the immortal ancient forbidden land gave birth to the origin of the 12 ancestral witches. If Qin Hao can complete the origin of the 12 ancestral witches, one day he will be able to reappear the 12 ancestral witches. Boom! Along with the 12 ancestral witches, they came out with wind, rain, thunder, and lightning, and the secrets of time and space. Those descendants of the immortal realm who came to attack, all withstood the world-destroying attack. With the cultivation of this deity, Qin Hao could fight dozens of people in one battle. A true immortal in the immortal realm. Now that he has summoned the 12 ancestors of witchcraft, these descendants of the immortal realm are not just left to be slaughtered by him. It can be said that even if they are placed in the immortal realm, Qin Hao is already invincible in the true immortal realm. Got it?